Hey everyone, and welcome back to Schmindel Unlimited, the podcast for reviews, rants, and ramblings about books from our favorite way to get books, the Kindle Unlimited universe. I'm one of your hosts, Amity,
And I'm Lauren.
and we are just Lauren and Amity today. We're without Steph. It's a busy season. This is a Christmas book, and so she's stepping out for this particular one. But don't worry, she'll be back next episode, where we discuss the next book. But for this episode, we're discussing Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal by Meghan Quinn. Before we get into it, though, Lauren, how's your week been? What have you been up to? What have you been reading?
Well, this book, and then I am so close to being done with the audiobook for Brimstone.
Nice.
And then I'm tandem reading. I went to the new bookstore in Naples. We have a new, it's not Barnes and
It's so
Noble.
cute.
It's adorable. It's small, but it's really, really cute. I actually went to at the Children's Museum in town. It was months ago. They had an event for like books, and I got a really cute one there because they were there and we're like, wait, who are you guys? There's a bookstore, and they're like, we're opening soon. So they opened in
Yeah.
October, and I went over the weekend for the first time. But I got the book called Good Spirits, and it's about a guy who is like, he's one of the ghosts of Christmas past. There's multiple, it's an army of them, and it's like a business. And he's haunting this girl who normally all the people that they haunt are bad people that need to, like Scrooge, but she's a good person. So I am currently on like chapter 4, but so far I'm loving it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I am currently reading a festive book, also a book called Snowed In by Catherine Walsh. Still at the very beginnings of it because the other book that I just recently read, it was so good. I would say I want to say my favorite book of the year,
Wow, that's saying a
but
lot.
I like if I don't count um Apprentice to the Villain,
I
like
was
that's
gonna
great.
say, does it
I
top
know.
Apprentice?
It does. So like yes, no. It's a standalone book and versus like you know how like series that you love like continuing the story and it didn't wrap up the story like I'm still hooked. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's like if you count just standalone books, this was the best book I read all year.
So what was it?
It's called Madam Secretary and it is the fictionalized true like so sort of or Becoming Madam Secretary is the full name of the book. And it's about the first female secretary. She was the Secretary of Labor. Her name is Frances Perkins. And the book is by Stephanie Dray. And so it's a real person, and she, never wrote an autobiography or whatever. So she kind of fictionalized some aspects of her story. And there's a whole piece at the end about like which parts she took some liberties with. But she was the first female secretary, like cabinet secretary. She worked for FDR. So this was a long time ago. It was so good. It took me a second to get into it. I realize like our podcast is about books from Kindle Unlimited, but I do try to not support Amazon as often as I can. And I know, like besides this whole podcast.
I mean, they haven't come to, be a sponsor, so we can say whatever we want.
Right, right. And like KU, I have lots of mixed feelings about because like Amazon, not the best company, like ethically for our environment, all sorts of things. However, some of the authors we've gotten to know are able to publish and self-publish because of KU. And
Like
so like it
they never would have gotten their books out there otherwise.
right. So like it is a good platform because of that. But when I have to, this book was not available on KU and it was not available at my library and it was like a fair amount of people in front of me in holds. So I have been shopping at bookshop.org, when I get a hard copy of a book if I can't actually go to a bookstore and get it. But I didn't even have time for that because I really was banking on my library hold to come in. So Bookshop has a way to buy the ebook, and I was like, oh, perfect. However,
Uh-oh.
their ebooks don't sync with our Kindle device. So I had to read this one like in just the internet window on my iPad. So it took me a little bit to get into it because I am a weak person, and when I have the whole internet and all of social media and everything at my
I'm
fingertips,
gonna get distracted.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but once I was hooked, I was hooked. I was getting notifications right and left and just like dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. I want to keep reading this book. It was so good. Every turn I thought it might take. So I did not pre-research. Uh, I read this book for workbook club, so I did have a deadline. And I did not pre-research. And I'm reading about this woman. I'm like, man, she's so fantastic. I keep waiting for some of these like relationships to turn romantic because that's the type of book we normally read.
I mean, we have expectations here, people.
Right. And I was like, oh no, like I hope it doesn't. She's so like, don't compromise her this way and stuff. It did not like she did, she got married and like she met her husband in the book and stuff. And like that was a romantic relationship and it was fine. But the story was so inspiring, so impactful. I loved it so much. Like I said, like I really think that was the best book, standalone book that I read this year.
I wrote it down, so I'm gonna check it out if
Yeah.
I can find
Well,
it
if
somewhere.
there's a way to lend bookshop.org ebooks, I'll let you know and you can read it from that way.
That's
Uh,
good. Also, I have an update. So the Collier County Library is getting rid of Hoopla, and I'm so upset at the end of the year.
are they
So,
moving to something else
well, I
or?
mean, they have like iCloud and Libby already, but so I went and looked for like popular books. Like I'm finishing the Brimstone audiobook on Hoopla right now. They don't have it on any of the other platforms. So like
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
gosh.
finish it before then, but I mean there's some other books, but they all have a hold. And the one thing I loved about Hoopla is like I'm gonna read that, like because I never know what mood I'm gonna be in at the time. And it's instantaneous, instant gratification. That's what we all want. But now it's like a hold in 30 days. I'm like, well, what if I don't feel like listening to that in 30 days?
The holds are so hard. Like
I know.
when I got on the list for Apprentice to the Villain, whatever book, Accomplice, I don't know what book I'm on right now. But like right when it came out, and I was 120
What?
on the wait list. I still don't know. This was months ago. I still don't know like if it came up or if it had come up after I had read it because I bought the paper version for that spa weekend. But the holds are insane. And so I don't do it that often. I only
I
do it
feel
when
like
I
I'm in
hit.
line for a Taylor Swift concert, to get
Right,
tickets.
right,
I mean,
right.
it is the same people, probably.
It probably is. The readers.
Oh, goodness. Well, shall we jump into Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal?
Let's hop in.
Let's do it. So, this is set in the Christmas town of Kringle, Colorado. So, think snow and aspen trees, and it's beautiful. And we've got some quirky characters.
Yes, we do.
So we're first introduced to Atlas, aka Max, and this confused me a little bit because like certain times he was referred to as Atlas, other times Max. So
So we met Max in book one, and these are
okay,
standalones, but same city. And
interconnected.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so book one was Grinch themed. And
I see.
so Atlas, aka Max, at one point literally was dressed up like actual Max from the Grinch, like a dog, in one of the scenes. It was hilarious. He actually references like that picture that he shows her of him in like those tiny shorts and no
Yeah,
shirt was from that scene in the Grinch book one.
which I just think of your dog Max.
I know. Oh, Max. Yes.
I know.
And
Before we
I,
dropped him off on your front step in a box for the girls on Christmas, that we were
one of my
saying
favorite
that
memories.
for 3 days while we had your dog, your puppy. That, by the way, that's how we figured out my dog is totally fine being an only child and doesn't want, she just Doesn't want anything to do with puppy.
No sharing.
She's like, what is this thing?
That's so funny.
So we're introduced to Atlas, aka Max, and he bursts into the house where, his parents' house. He lives with his parents, his siblings are there, his two brothers. And after his post-Thanksgiving walk, where he overheard people on the other, end of land that adjuts them, that's empty, and they're talking about developing the land. And he is flipping out, and everyone's like, just calm down, like it's fine. Stop being so paranoid. Um, but he is just a very anxious person, doom and gloom, maybe. But he wakes up the next
Yeah.
day, no one's home. He lives with his parents, and wait, he's 30 something at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's living with them so he can save up and build a house on the property, because they own like a Christmas tree farm. And he texts his parents, he texts his brother, and no one is responding. And then he finally finds a letter from his dad saying, hey, we're on a plane to Europe. We're going to go check out the Christmas markets. We'll be gone for a month, but like, this is your opportunity to show us you can run the farm by yourself. So it's a bit chaotic. And then we're
Yeah.
introduced to our female main character, and her name is Betty. She is from Fort Collins, and she's visiting her uncle. What's his name?
Dwight?
Dwight. Thank you, Dwight. Who is only like 5 years older than her. And she had a year-round Christmas store in Fort Collins that she had to close about a year ago. And
Yeah.
she was the one that was on the land because her uncle owns that land. And he wants to open a Christmas tree farm and for Betty to own it.
A
So we,
Christmas tree farm in the backyard of Atlas's family's Christmas tree farm.
yes. So
Competing farm.
um, there's a little bit of animosity there between Dwight and Atlas. And we come to find out why in the coming chapters. But Atlas and Betty, they have their first meeting, and it is certainly an actual meet cute.
It was.
Betty is wearing a ski mask for some reason. I don't recall why, but
Because
she's a
it's
bit,
cold, so cold.
it's so cold. But she's from Fort Collins. Like, you should be used to the cold. But
It's colder in it's the mountains or something.
okay. Yes. So like, he can't see her face, but they have like a little banter back and forth, and it's actually quite cute. Um, and then we jump to Atlas on his family's farm, and like, there's some girl asking his workers about vendors, which, like, that's so sketchy. I really started to not like Betty at this point, when like, you are blatantly trying to steal like intellectual property.
Yes.
I was mad. I did not like her for a bit of the story.
Yeah, for sure.
But turns out Betty's uncle like surprises her and sets up a prefab like tiny home on the property, ships all of her stuff there from Fort Collins. And then Atlas is like, I need to go figure out what's going on over there. So he, in the dark, with a crowbar, because he's got to protect himself from
Against bears.
from the bears, with a crowbar in his back pocket, because that's not suspicious at all, and a flashlight. And so he sneaks up and like finds Betty in her cabin, but Betty saw him with this flashlight, so she jumps out, and hits him in the head with a 2-liter bottle of Coke, and knocks him out. Atlas gets
Do you
arrested.
know any adults our age who drink soda from a 2-liter bottle if they're soda drinkers? I was
No.
like, this is an unbelievable portion of the story. I understand the
I know they're out there, but like, that's just
right. I
not our
know,
friend group.
but I
But
understand the connection to Home Alone.
yes.
But I was like, she has so much soda out of a 2-liter bottle. Like,
Like,
not that
how
I
you're
don't
by
know people,
yourself,
right? Not that I don't know people who drink soda, like, but it's
but you drink it fast enough that it doesn't go bad.
right, like they drink it out of a can.
I know, like the little tiny cans, because it's so
Right.
cute and I feel better about it. But I'm drinking ginger ale, so I think the last time I bought a 2-liter bottle of soda was like for a party.
Right. Yes.
That's the only
But
appropriate
in her
time to.
cabin, she has like so many 2 liter
I
bottles of
know.
soda. Like she just her whole counter just must be 2 liters.
Should we give her the diabetes education now or later? But I mean, she's got great aim with it. It's like
Yeah.
she was practicing prior. But they end up running, like he gets let out from jail because he knows everyone in town and they know he's not
Right.
gonna hurt anyone in reality. He's just paranoid. But they end up running into each other again on the sidewalk. And they're like, oh shit, I know you.
Yeah.
You hit me with the 2 liter bottle of Coke. And she's like, but you tried to break into my house. It's like, I wasn't trying to break in. It was the bears. I had to see who was there. I'm like, first, like, Atlas, you were in the wrong. But they like never exchanged names, so they didn't know who they were. She didn't know that he was Atlas, her uncle's arch nemesis, and they are now sworn enemies.
Yeah.
And Betty ends up telling her uncle about the intruder, who it was, and he loses it. And he's like, he's very dangerous. But her uncle also, like, no one in town really likes him. So there's a whole bunch of things
But
there.
somehow he's also the only realtor in town.
I, well, so there's some weird bylaws in the town that you can only have
Yeah.
one of everything. So you can only have one Christmas tree farm. Like you can't compete with any other business. So
It must
that's
be so
why,
hard growing up. Being like, what do I want to do? Can't do that. Jobs I've heard of.
right?
Invent a whole new job.
Well, he's already the town plumber. No one else can be the plumber.
Right.
But the reason Dwight can open this Christmas tree farm on the property is because they're technically not in the like in the town. They're within the county. They're just on the town limits on the other side, but still super duper sketchy. Because
Yeah.
Betty ends up going back to the farm and starts asking employees about their suppliers. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. No, that was not okay.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And so Atlas like hears about it and she's still there. And she loses it, won't listen to Atlas. And like, granted, you're on his property,
Right. You were doing exactly what he was doing. You're just not carrying a crowbar.
right? You're stealing their ideas. Like, how are you any better than him? Um, at this point, still like Atlas way more than her. I did not like her.
I do. Well, especially because she didn't seem uncomfortable with this. This felt like appropriate market research to her.
Yeah,
And it's one thing to take like a visit, but it's something else to ask about.
right. And to go back multiple times,
Right.
it's not okay.
Yeah.
But as Atlas is running after her, his back locks up and she just leaves him there in pain, doesn't go get anyone to help. So she's keeps losing points.
Yeah.
No brownie points for her. But at this point, Atlas is like talking to his best friend Cole, who was the male main character from the first book. He's like, I got to do something to fix my image. So he recruits some of the townsfolk and draws up this idea in crayon that he presents to everyone. And everyone's like, no, not happening. Um, but
Except for Guy
Guy, until he kept saying the
calling him
wrong
Gus.
name. And when he said his name incorrectly twice, it's like, nope, I'm out. But
Yeah.
so no one will help him. Right. Then Atlas is like, well, I better just try and apologize. So he goes over to Betty's and apologizes, sweet treats, and there's a standoff, and she throws another bottle of soda. He drops all the
More
sweet
soda.
treats. More soda. Like she's keeping the town, market and business.
Right?
They gotta order another truckload in just for her. Oh goodness. But yeah, it's not so good at this point. I really don't like Betty. Atlas just keeps digging his own grave. But she ends up going back again to his farm with a notebook. Like I still so this is what number 3, and then Dwight is there too on his farm and confronts Atlas, and Atlas just starts to spiral.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has this meeting with his inner circle. And his plan is to make Betty fall in love with him. And like no one agrees except for Story, who is Cole's wife. And she's like, do not tell Cole that I'm helping you. He can't know this. So they end up going to a coffee shop to plan. Little does um Atlas know that Story invited Betty to like show up at the coffee shop and join her. And she made it seem like Atlas was just there and, saw Story and is playing with her baby and trying to make Atlas out to be a really good guy.
Well, because Story thinks Atlas and Betty would be great together. And so
Absolutely.
she sees Atlas's plan to get Story to fall in love with him
She's
and
got her own master plan
right, raises it and be like, yeah, we're just gonna make you guys fall in love with each other.
because they are the same person.
They
It's
really are. They're
they're
both so awkward.
they're awkward and chaotic and
I
a
had
little
secondhand embarrassment for them
I it was a
all
little
of the
cringy
time.
there for a bit.
All of the time.
Actually, a lot of it. And I'm
Yeah.
this book took me forever.
This was a long book.
It
It
was
wasn't
long.
not interesting. It just
I
was
don't know.
long.
There was a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, like, did we really need this chapter? Could have done without it. Like, there were multiple chapters where I could have skipped it and still have known exactly what was going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a
It's a lot of fluff.
I felt like it's one of those books that like is meant to be enjoyed throughout a season. It did not feel written for God, this is gonna sound so weird, but like it didn't feel written for like power readers like us
Yeah.
who want to read a couple of holiday books. Like it felt long enough that this could be the holiday book I read. You know what
The
I mean?
goals of this book and my goals did not sync up.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was excessively long and I couldn't stay interested. I had a tough time.
Yeah, because you can see where it's going from the very beginning.
Yeah. Um, well, then we start to get a little more action besides just awkward Betty pissing me off because she's stealing people's ideas. They go to the Christmas Kringle competition, and this is when Story's starting to like work her magic. They are there with Cole and Story are there with their baby, and Atlas and Betty are there alone. And like, well, come on, let's go sit as a
Yeah, let's all
group.
hang out. We'll sit.
And how convenient. Story and Cole's baby has a giant blowout and they have no
Oh,
spare
and she forgot the
clothes.
second outfit.
She sure did. So they're like, we have to go home. Like, this is
Yeah.
Armageddon here.
Yeah, this is awful.
So Betty and Atlas are sitting next to each other watching and like just some super awkward things where he shows her the photo of him,
Half
with no
naked. Yeah.
shirt in his outfit from last year's Christmas Kringle competition. Um,
And she appreciates it.
She does. She does. She tries not to let him know that she appreciates it.
Oh, and this is when
Um,
they're sitting near the old couple
oh my
who
God,
just
the old
keep
couple.
giggling at them. That was so
Mhm.
funny. This was a funny scene.
Yes. And then Atlas and Betty like start talking about his family farm. And she just goes off and says all the things wrong with this farm. And it's actually a pretty good list. Like, it
Yes.
was
No,
thoughtful.
they were great critiques.
They were. But then like his brothers show up and he acts super jealous and protective of her. He apologizes and tells her like, I'm attracted to you. And then her car doesn't start. So he has to drive her home. But nothing happens.
He drives her home and arranges for somebody from the town to come take a look at it.
So she's starting to see like, oh crap, what my uncle is saying isn't matching up with his actions.
Right. He doesn't seem like a dangerous guy. He doesn't seem like a jerk.
So she's starting to redeem herself. I'm still mad at her.
I
Next, we jump to the Christmas Cupid night. I must say they have a lot of events in this town.
mean, it's Kringle, like,
I
and it's
know
their time. This is their
it
time to
is.
shine.
And this Cupid Christmas night, I don't really like you put ornaments on the trees. They have different vendors for food. You walk around. It's like it sounds super cute.
Yeah, it's
Like
like a
kind of
cute,
like a Christmas market.
yeah, like a Christmas market for couples, they put extra mistletoe up
Ooh,
around the
everywhere.
town. Yeah, it's cute.
So Atlas is there waiting, and Story and Cole show up together, and Story had invited Betty, and Betty shows up. She's like, "Oh, this is a couples thing." And Story goes, "Oh my God, I meant to invite you for tomorrow night." And Atlas says, like, "Oh, my brother set me up with someone and they no-showed. So why don't you come with me?" Um, so they end up walking around a bit as a foursome, and eventually Cole and Story ditch them because Cole is not happy with this
Yeah,
turn of
this is his. He
events,
apparently gets one date night a year or something, it
right?
sounds like.
But then Atlas kind of shows Betty all the fun things to do. There's multiple kisses under the mistletoe. She comes around real fast to,
Oh yeah. It was very fast.
yes, agreed. Like it was, I hate you, just kidding. Not
Yeah.
anymore. Um, I do you remember this part where they're I don't even know why this was necessary really in the book, but the whole like Story set up fake mannequins at his house with acting like it was a
Oh, to make her
party.
jealous. Like he was hosting the
Yes.
party. That I think that was just to get the Home Alone scene in.
Okay. Because it just it didn't see why it was necessary. It was funny, but I wished I had gotten that 20 minutes of my life back reading that chapter kind of. But now Betty is starting to feel bad about her plan to take down Atlas's farm, and she thinks he's nice, and she's also seeing like, hey, my uncle's not really well liked in this town. He doesn't really have friends, and so she's finally starting to question things as she should. Um, and then this is where we realize for sure, like Story has completely thrown Atlas's plan out the window. She's got her own plan.
Hmm.
She's evil geniusing this. Um, and Betty runs into Story and Atlas at the coffee shop again. And they're kind of nice to each other. They're talking, and Dwight finds all of them at the coffee shop and he loses it. He claims that Atlas took down his ornament from the Christmas Cupid tree, where if you leave it up and it stays up, your wish comes true. But he had put up an ornament in high school. His
How
girlfriend,
windy must it be
I
every
don't
night there that
right?
like
Like you're in the mountains. I don't know. But back when they were, I think in high school, his girlfriend
yeah.
was sick with cancer. He put an ornament on the tree wishing she would beat cancer. Someone took down the ornament and she died 3 days later.
Was
That's
it his girlfriend or was it the girl he liked
good
who
question.
liked Atlas?
I don't think she liked Atlas. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know actually.
I thought there was some sort of like extra animosity because they were friends and Dwight had asked her out and she was like, I'm saving myself for Atlas. And Atlas is like, I didn't know and I didn't take down her ornament and I'm sorry.
Uh, but Dwight like claims that Atlas is a master manipulator, and he has some good points that are kind of spot on-ish, but he's not seeing it in the right way.
Yeah.
But he certainly does a good job of seeing the worst in Max. And after that, Dwight has to like go to a conference. So he's out of town, and conveniently there's a massive storm coming where Atlas loses power, and he's like, hey, I can't get in touch with Betty. He ends up walking over there.
Yeah. Who's in this Insta cabin?
Yes, teeny tiny, like probably minimal insulation. But he finds over there and or he walks over there and finds her nearly hypothermic on the couch and carries
I,
her.
so in your professional medical opinion, that was way too fast, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless she had like the door wide open. I mean,
Right. Like, what was
I'm
she thinking?
she's not she doesn't have street smarts. Okay, let's start there.
I just I'm like, where, what, like, was she just
And like
naked?
also, why didn't you
Like,
call for help for anyone? Like, why didn't you text your uncle and be like, hey, what do I do? You live in this town. You could have
well, and
driven to his house.
there's no way you're almost hypothermic.
I know.
in like 2 hours and you're inside in
I
blankets and stuff.
agreed. Agreed. Again, you would have to have like a window open, but yeah, anyway. But
Okay.
Max ends up carrying her back to his place and then goes back for the tarantula because she's got her tarantula. He wouldn't have made it. Um, he like warms her up, makes her soup, and then there's some spicy sex adjacent scenes here on the floor on the air mattress in front of the fireplace.
This is an author who writes spicy scenes.
There, after this point in the book, it's all spice.
Yeah, and I will say, um, because I know like I've read a lot of Meghan Quinn stuff, I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it. I enjoy her plots. I think she's a funny writer. I don't read The Spice. I next it.
Yeah,
So
there,
the
I
book got
will
a lot
say,
faster at this point.
yeah, after this point, I think it was half spice,
Yeah.
if not more, like 60% spice, 40%
Yeah.
plot.
Yes.
The plot is it's up front.
Hmm.
But they're talking after the spice, and she has a new idea for her uncle's land where it's like an adult pay away like property where there's multiple cabins.
It's so cute.
I know it's a great idea with like a theme, like candy cane themed or what I don't remember what the other
Yeah.
idea was, but like adults only in your little cabins. I thought it was a great idea.
Yes.
Um, so now it wouldn't be competing, and the town actually needs it because they have one inn that's usually overrun during the
Hmm.
holidays. The power finally comes back on, and she does end up going home, but not before Max or Atlas asks her on a date.
And she
So
says yes.
yeah, so they go on their date night where he plans a date that is tailored to her. So they go antique shopping and have dinner, and they are the exact same person.
They're
So
so
I
awkward.
I end up skipping over like the uncomfortable rambling between the two of them. Um, there's more spice. They actually have sex this time, not sex adjacent.
Yeah.
An awkward scene with cordial cherries and oral sex.
Tis the season.
It is.
What's cordial cherry?
And then something else is even more awkward. It's when they're basically having sex again, and there's a scene with um a popcorn garland.
You ever made popcorn garland?
No, maybe as a
I don't
kid.
think I have.
Yeah, but she ends up wrapping it around an appendage right as his parents come home from their European vacation and told no one when they would be back. So his mother and father made
Yep.
him
That's how
scrub the
they meet the
couch.
parents.
Yep, that's how she meets parents. She's mortified. His parents make him
His
scrub
parents
the,
handle it really well.
they do, but he has to scrub the couch of his ass.
Fair.
I
Fair.
mean, I'd probably do the same thing. Um, yeah, so some awkwardness, but Cole ends up finding archived video from the townsfolk that looks directly onto that Christmas tree. And like that was from like 2 decades ago, and they still have it
Right?
archived. It turns out it was Atlas's brother Ansel, who he doesn't exactly have the best relationship with, who took down Dwight's
No.
ornaments.
Yep.
So it's a development. Nothing happens quite
Mhm.
yet. But Betty runs into Martha and May at the coffee shop, and they mention something about the archives. She's like, "What are you talking about?" She ends up bringing it up when Max picks her up, and she learns all about the initial plan in crayon to make her fall in love with him in the glove compartment of his truck. And Dwight interrupts, and it is just a shit show.
Yeah.
He admits to the initial scheme, but then it was like, I fell in love with you. And
Right,
she
but like
is,
now I don't wanna
yeah, she's mad. Lauren's story was involved, so she feels just
completely
betrayed by
broken. Yeah.
everyone. But Bob Krampus, he is the mayor and plays the town Santa. got a great name.
Yeah,
He
I love this book.
intervenes and mediates between Atlas and Dwight. This needed to happen like many chapters ago.
Yeah, 17 years ago.
Yes. Um, they kind of figure their shit out. Dwight believes Atlas that he didn't do it. He learns that Ansel did it. Dwight's still obviously mad, as he should be,
Yeah.
but he can now direct that anger onto the appropriate person. Atlas ends up going to see Betty, trying to apologize, and she kicks him out. And Story recommends like a grand gesture. Betty's trying to get out of town. Her car won't start again, so she can't leave town.
So
And
they sabotaged her car, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think she's just got a shit car.
Oh, I was under the impression they sabotaged her car, and I was like, awesome, more sabotage. That's surely the way to convince her to trust you again.
They wouldn't put it past them. They have questionable.
It's small town. There's questionable
Yeah,
morals.
they're yeah. They are good people that make poor decisions.
Yeah.
But then we have the townsfolk are gonna help Atlas with this. We have everyone come together. We have Dwight, surprisingly, the townspeople. Ansel shows up and they kind of have it out, and they were very mature about it. I was shocked.
They were.
Dwight goes, I'm mad at you, but they don't kick each other's ass.
Yeah. A
I
win's a
know.
win.
We're making progress here, people. But it turns out Atlas thought it was his friend's ornament and took it down as a joke. It happened to be like a very similar ornament, and he felt terrible about it and kept the ornament the whole time. And he gives the ornament back to Dwight, which means a lot to him.
Yeah.
He's still not okay. But Atlas enlists the help of the town people to set up another meet cute. And it goes well. Betty ends up forgiving him rather quickly. And I think my favorite part of this entire book was the narrator. I love the narrator. And then Atlas would jump in and like talk to the narrator. And it was
Yeah.
very funny. And we find out that the narrator was Bob Krampus Jr. It was very funny.
Yes.
So then we get an epilogue. I don't know, jump to like 6 months later. Story is pregnant with baby number 3, and Betty is pregnant with baby number 1.
Everybody lives happily ever after.
And I don't know if there's going to be another book. It like sounded like there wasn't.
Oh, I thought there was, and I thought the next book was Bob Krampus Jr.
Oh, I would actually love to read that book.
Because
He's like your super grumpy, but not as grumpy as Cole.
because one of the questions I wanted to ask was what movie should she do for next year?
Oh. Okay, I would love if A Christmas Story was one of them because
Okay.
it's absolutely ridiculous. One of my favorites. I do love A Miracle on 34th Street. I don't know how she could make that into a book though.
I know. That is my favorite Christmas
I
movie.
know. I
Um,
feel like A Christmas Story would be easy.
I think it would. I wonder if because it's Bob Krampus Jr. who has to step into the role of Santa Claus, if it's going to be the movie The Santa Claus.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. We'll find out, but um he
So we
was
had, sorry, what was that?
no, I was going to talk favorite characters.
Mine was the narrator. What
Yeah.
was yours?
I think Atlas is funny. I liked him in
He
the other
is.
book too. Um, so like he's awkward and all over the place, but he's funny. Like I enjoyed reading from his point of view. I also still liked Story. I liked her in the other book, and I liked her in
Yeah.
this book.
What did you think of Betty? Did she redeem herself?
I I think Betty's been letting other people tell her what to do too much, and
Yeah.
to needs to find herself a little bit, but that's okay.
Maybe she'll redeem herself in book.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe. I she had a very bad taste in my mouth from the 4 times she tried to go steal ideas. And
Yeah,
I had a hard time seeing past that.
yeah,
But
same.
we did have some tropes. We had enemies to lovers, forced proximity, one bed. I don't did I
Hmm.
miss anything? Christmas, obviously.
Yeah, like sort of fake dating-ish.
True. Um, Overall impression. What are you giving this out of 10?
Um, this was a seven. Yeah, a seven.
A 7? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the oh 5.5.
that's fine.
I had such a hard time getting through this book.
Yeah, that's okay. It was, like I said, it was long.
It was long. Once I got past the first half, it was faster.
Yeah. Again, I think it's one of those books that's like it's not meant for speed readers like us. I think it's meant for I'm reading one book this holiday season.
Yeah.
But I think
But
that averages out to a 6.25. That's not bad.
hey, we've had worse.
Yeah.
But next week, we are reading a book for next time that I have had on my Kindle for months. So I'm finally get to read it and take it off.
Yay.
It is called Duke It Out by Bella James. I think we're going to Scotland.
Love it. Love it. I will not try a Scottish accent.
Come on.
I no, I don't even know that I could. I don't
I
even know
don't,
that
I
I
definitely cannot.
could. Well, then we'll keep you from having to listen to that. But thanks for listening to our American accented reviews, rants, and ramblings. Remember, if you also read this book or review it on Amazon or Goodreads, please include that Schmindel Schmidt Limited sent you. And if you wouldn't mind a quick review on your podcast platform, we would be forever grateful. Have a great week-ish, and we can't wait to read, review, rant, and ramble about the next book with you. Bye!